Alright, so we're kicking off round 1 of the CTD Season 5 Racing League. So this week we are at the Bend with the international layout. It's going to be a very exciting race, I think. We've got a pretty full grid. Definitely a lot of competitive times, a lot of competitive drivers. So this is going to be a pretty interesting race to watch. We do have our two classes racing tonight. So they're all racing for the same points. We have our pro category, anybody above 2K, and our amateur category, anybody below that 2K threshold. It's great to see so many chasing the Delta liveries on the grid. And out of all of our a field of Porsches, we do have one Mercedes with us tonight. So a little bit about the Bend. It's been a very interesting track to drive and hot lap and race this week. There's definitely some varying skill levels all throughout the officials. A lot of times we're seeing some car collections or some car contacts into turn 1, 2, and 3. Generally speaking, whoever gets out of that first little complex there starts to drive away a little bit. We're definitely hoping for some clean racing into T1 tonight. Don't want to see any contacts with our two race setup for the evening. There's definitely lots of opportunities to make those passes. This track is very technical. There's a lot of really late apexes. You have to really set up, and I should say you really need to focus on setting up your next corners. A lot of the times it's all about compromising one exit to get a better exit for the following corner. Track conditions have been pretty rough too. This is by the coast, so I think there's quite a bit of wind and some sand buildup on the track surface itself. It's been very slick to drive around on, so we'll see how our drivers fare tonight. Coming through our last two corners here, followed by we're following the glorious pace truck. And we're gonna ride with Andrew here on our green start. And we're off. Immediately to the left side. It's got to have a good run here. Looks like everybody's making it clean. And we have a clean start. Going 2, 3 wide through some of these corners, and this is a tight track. It's really hard to navigate those door-to-doors through the corners themselves. Coming into the next hairpin, keeping an eye out for any contact. Everybody's keeping it nice and clean. You love to see it. Oh, and I think we have our first spin from the only Mercedes on the grid. And another spin from Douglas. This is almost the fastest part of the whole track. That's a very tough section to get right. little bit of a curb hop from the permed mullet. Let's watch that rejoin, nice and safe there. And another spin, unfortunately. Missed who that was. So now that our field is spread out a little bit, keeping an eye on any battles we might have going. Looks like our closest one's going to be between Nick and Aquaman, otherwise known as Alex. That's not his real name. His real name is Aquaman, and he rain dances until it pours. Coming into that fast section again, we're referring to this as the bend. This is 4 right turns that just turn into a really long sweeper. Really nice exits from everybody out of the last corner. We do have some closer battle back in about the middle of the pack here between Carter and Jake. Excuse me, Carter and Michael. So important to get a good exit on that last corner on the track. Getting that straight line speed so valuable. Ooh, we have a move coming into T1. The mullet makes it stick past June. Can he bring any pace to fight him? We've got some other close battles here. And Lewis gets the pass made into the hairpin. All these CTD liveries on grid are making it very, very challenging to pick out who's who. Lewis looks like he's on the attack too. I know he's got a lot of pace in that car. He's trailing Chris right behind Eric. Let's see if he can get some of these passes made. Little wide from Chris, a little wider from Eric. Good rejoins from both of those guys, and Lewis is through. Angelo tailing right behind him. And we have a new fastest lap from Andrew Slovak at a 155.4. That is rapid. Some more battling behind. Eric and Chris are going at it. And Andrew Agard's starting to get in the mix too. We might have a three-way battle for 11th here. Really good exit from Chris. He's doing everything he needs to hold these guys off. Oh, and they both go wide. Andrew Agard sneaks past both of them for the double overtake. Nicely done there. Eric tries to sneak his nose in there, just not quite far enough ahead. There is some separation between these guys now. Let's catch up with our leaders here. So we do have a pretty nice battle between Jake and Aquaman, as well as Nick Cox. I take that back, excuse me. That's between Nick Cox, Jake, and Carter Price. Nick is one of our graduates, so he is in the pro division. But these two behind in the AM division, they're giving him a run for his money. They want that spot. They want those points. Really nice racecraft from both of those guys. Nobody's trying to force any moves in particular, but Carter's definitely putting the pressure on Jake. Little bit wide, just a tiny bit of a slide from Jake, but he keeps a hold of it. These guys are all pretty close in pace too. Jake and Carter both with a PB of a 56.7 in the race. And Nick actually does a 56.77 as well. So these guys are going to be one to watch. Into the hairpin, we see a little bit of defense from Nick. No major position changes, no ground gained from any of these guys, but they're all staying within contention. Everybody's nice and clean on exit. This next double left-hander is a very tricky one to pick out for your turn-in. get the car settled and turned in for the second following left-hander, as we see Nick go wide. Jake up the inside. He beats Nick to the apex. Oh, but we have an over-under, and these guys are just trading positions back and forth. Carter in the mix now, gets past Jake. Little bit of a hurt exit taking that inside line. Let's see if Jake has any steam to get past him down the straight. These guys are putting on a great show. Lots of patience. Everybody's making just a little mistake here and there, but everybody's capitalizing on it, being respectful of the space. You just love to see it. Coming into the hairpin again, everybody looks pretty tidy. We'll have to watch for Michael as well. He definitely has some pace in this car, and he's not far behind. If our trio here keeps fighting, that's going to get Michael in the mix. And we have another fastest lap from Andrew Slovak with a 1:55.4. Little wide from Carter. Everybody kind of keeps it in line, on track. No major issues there. And a little bit wide again on exit there. That's a corner that a lot of people seem to be struggling with tonight. Ooh, just right on the limit from those two guys. Very nice saves from the both of them. As this battle's winding down a little bit, seems like everybody's starting to settle in. We're going to check back in for the fight for P13. We have quite the trio here as well. I see some dirty cars. It looks like you guys are adventuring off circuit a little bit. All right, almost 3 wide into turn 1. That is tight. So this battle continues between Douglas, Eric, and Chris. Chris has the advantage here in P13. If I know Eric and Douglas, though, they do not want to give up those spots. They're going to come for it. Douglas up the inside. Can he make it stick? And he gets away with it. Eric wants that spot, though. He does not want to give that up. He backs out of it, recollects the car, gets nice and settled, and he's going to go on the attack here soon, I'm sure. Little bit of a weak exit from Eric through that first left-hander, but it does look like he's got quite the run on the second left-hander. He's still in this fight. Chris keeping it calm, cool, and collected. Chris thinking about a little bit of a defense. Douglas pulls out, and just not quite far enough ahead to go too wide into that apex. These guys are putting the pressure on Chris though, and he's holding. Douglas up the inside. Can he make it stick? Is he holding on to it? Just a little deep. He makes the pass stick though. Alright, so Douglas out in front of this trio. There is a little bit of space now between him and Chris. Eric on the attack as well. Our leader, Andrew Slovak, is currently checked out. He has 6.5 seconds to P2 and P3 at the moment. And it looks like Douglas is starting to pull away from Chris and Eric both. That clean air can really make all the difference. Once you're not stuck behind any cars and you can kind of see your brake markers a little bit more clearly, you can get that wide entry and wide exit. That really starts to make the difference on lap times. As these guys separate a little bit, we're going to check back in for our fight for P4. Our trio of Nick, Carter, and Jake. This fight just continues on. And another PB from Andrew Slovak at a 1:54.9. That is blistering fast. I'm seeing some personal best set by Aquaman and Josh King as well, both at a 55.6. These guys do not let up. Nick continuing to charge, trying to gain some distance to these two, but they're on the attack. They do not want to give up those spots. Nice and tidy into T1. Nick and Carter starting to pull away slightly from Jake, but he's still in there. Still within draft range. He can still make something happen. Ah, and a bit of a slide out of T3. That's going to cost him. This should be last lap. Looks like everything is on the line at this point. If Carter can get close enough towards the end and he can make a move happen on Nick, that'll be a really hard one to... and he goes just a little bit wide. Cost him a little bit of time. That's going to be really hard to get back before the end of this lap. As these guys separate, it looks like we still have a fight going for P13 here. Douglas still out in front, followed by Chris and then Eric. I think the closer of our two battles here is going to be between Chris and Eric. Eric pulls out, just can't get his nose in there early enough. Little bit wide on the first left-hander. That's going to cost him some time too. Douglas coming up to the last two corners. P12 is right in front of him. I know he's pushing for that spot, but I don't think there's going to be quite enough time for it. And as we come around the last corner, it looks like Douglas is going to take that spot, followed by Chris and Eric. Rounding out our 16 drivers tonight with the Scientist. It looks like he's got a little bit of damage on that car, but brought her home. And that's going to conclude race 1 with Andrew in P1, followed by Aquaman, Josh King, Nicholas Cox, Carter Price, Jake Austin, Michael, I'm sorry, but I'm going to butcher your last name, The Mullet, Luis, June, Angelo, Andrew Agard, Douglas, Chris, Eric, The Scientist, and of course our commentators, Aaron and Eddie. We'll see you guys shortly for race 2. All right, we are back for race 2 of our league night. Our qualifying positions. Again, congratulations to Andrew in the pro class for the pole position, followed by Josh again with the AM pole position. We have Aquaman in P3, followed by Nick Cox in P4, Carter Price in P5, Lewis Sam, I don't know how to say your name and I don't want to ruin it, but Lewis is in P6, Jake Austin in P7, Michael in P8, June Tan in P9, followed by Douglas Mellon in P10. Bear with me here. Then we have Chris Kohler in P11, followed by the Mullet in P14. He's going to catch a couple positions after they pass the cars in the pit lane. Angelo Bovino in P15, Eric Faust in P16, the Scientist in P17, followed by Andrew Agard in P18. Eddie's joining us for race 2. What were your thoughts on race 1?
It looks like a close one in a few positions, so we're gonna have an interesting one. It's gonna be a good battle. It was clean racing. I was glad to see that race. A bunch of new guys that are fast and are race cleaning.
Yeah, that was definitely a very exciting one to watch. Super happy with how clean everybody raced as well. So for race 2, we're following the Mustang for a pace car instead of our old faithful pickup truck.
I think it's gonna be a good season. A lot of graduate, I think. We have a lot of fast guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna climb on that higher rating ladder soon.
I couldn't agree more. That's a good point. Everybody seems to have really good pace. It seems like everyone's racecraft is built up already. It's really cool. All right, so our pace car is in, and Andrew's going to take us to the green light. Green flag, excuse me. And we're off.
Green flag, green flag.
Andrew with a nice jump, taking off down the start-finish straight. Looks like Josh is under a little bit of pressure from Aquaman, and Nick's right behind him.
Too wide on turn 1.
Nice and clean. Looks like everybody kept it pretty composed there.
It looks like just hold the pressure. That's right.
Coming into the hairpin, one of the biggest braking zones on the track. Once again, everybody's keeping it nice and tidy. Oh, we do have a little bit of door banging between Andrew and Chris Kohler. Looks like everybody kept it pretty pointed in the right direction still.
We're almost free wide there.
Ooh, and a big spin from Eric. He's off in no man's land now. But the Scientist going just a little bit wide into the grass as well.
Nick Cox went wide. Over here record. Oh, out again.
Yeah, off in the grass. He gets rejoined. The Moy sends it up the inside on Douglas, makes the pass stick for now, and it looks like Nick's going to try to get in on the inside on this last corner. He makes the pass stick as well, but he definitely had a much worse run out of the corner. Douglas is coming back.
Right.
Almost too wide. Douglas concedes that position.
Yeah, hey, back off to be safe.
Yeah, surviving's half the battle, right? So we're starting to spread out a little bit. It looks like P5 through about P8. It's a little bit more of a gap than that. P5 through P7 is pretty close.
That's Jake in the lead on that pack.
He had a great battle in race 1 with Carter and I think Nick Cox. So following along board with Lewis here. He's trying to put the pressure on Jake. And Jake's definitely holding pretty steady though. He's not looking nervous. Making sure he gets good exits. Our current fastest lap on the board is with 56.2 from Josh King.
They have a great pace. One of the new guys, and he's proven that he's going to be on the top, contending for the championship on the new guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, his pace is looking really, really good.
We have a few 1.3 rating guys, like Carter, Jake, Sampaio is close on 1.5, Michael. It's gonna be a close to see who is the one to graduate first.
Yeah, it might be a fun little wager to get all of them involved on kind of competing against each other to get there first. So Eddie, as you were climbing up the ranks and gaining IR, what was the biggest motivation for you to keep pushing and keep getting faster?
I need to cut the time on my laps, my pace. That was the motivation to get there. It was a roller coaster, but it was worth it.
Hopefully you had a lot of fun as you climbed up the ladder.
At moments too, because that's part of racing, right? So a lot of learning in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. So our battle between Nick Cox and the Mullet's heating up. The Mullet had a little bit of a bad run out of that last corner. Nick gets past him with plenty of speed.
So Andrew on the lead have a like 1.8 race gap lead. So this look like Alex is pushing on. Aquaman is pushing on Josh. Let's see how it turns that battle.
Yeah,
For the second place.
let's catch up with those guys. I know Aquaman's been really grinding all week trying trying to find that lap time, find the consistency.
.1, so that's fast.
Yeah, that's
Close to-
flying. Andrew's pace can be pretty hard to match when he's in clean air.
Fast one, so it's going to be hard to catch him.
Yeah, very true.
So it seems like Nick is having a hard time on the last turn, going wide, but he recovers.
Yeah, he does seem to have quite a bit of pace throughout the rest of the lap, and then it seems to fall off just a little bit on that start-finish straight, huh? He's putting the pressure on Michael. As they come through turn 3, who will have a better exit?
He closed the gap.
Coming into the hairpin, will we see any moves? Michael goes defensive.
Also, Luz Sampaio is closing on Jake. Really close. So
Yeah, that's going to be another one to watch. You have two really close battles here. Oh, and Lewis has got a little bit of a run on Jake. Not quite.
yeah. Let's see if he goes on the inside. No.
Carries a little bit more speed on exit. Let's see how these guys handle this really tricky double left-hander. They both go a little bit wide.
I think that's one of the hardest turns of this track.
Yeah, definitely agreed. The exits there are also so important too. That the second left-hander leads on to more or less excuse me, just fumbling my words here. It leads on to a kind of a straightaway, so getting a good exit out of there is super valuable.
It looks like we have a great battle also in the back for P10 or P11 between Andrew and Angelo.
Let's have a look. Yeah, it's about a three-way battle, right? Douglas, Andrew, and Angelo.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye on these guys here for a minute. Angelo's definitely closing that gap in the braking zones. Andrew goes a little bit wide to the left-hander, and again a little bit wide on the right-hander. That lets Angelo catch up just a little bit.
Definitely, that hurts. It's sexy. Oh, could be his feeling the pressure from Angelo.
Ooh, very
Oh.
close. They both get about a similar exit out of the last corner. Not seeing the gap change too much, positive or negative.
Yeah. It seems like the Merc is faster on the straight.
Yeah, that seems to be the case too. The Mercedes with its V8 is just so powerful. Just a little bit wide into turn 3, and that brings Angelo right back into it.
Looking at the front, it looks like Andrew is on a mission. He already have a 3-second gap.
Yeah, the gap is never enough for that guy, huh?
Yeah. But Aquaman is closing the gap, less than a second from Josh. So he wants that second place.
We do have quite the battle for P4 as well. We have Carter, Lewis, Jake, Michael. If I'm reading everything right.
Yeah. Oh, Jake is on P5.
Michael going a little bit wide. Nick getting around him, maybe. It does look like he's got the nicer run out of that last left-hander. As these guys separate a little bit, we'll catch back up with P2 and P3.
0.5, the gap from Josh to Aquaman.
Yeah, Aquaman's put... Sorry.
Go ahead.
Aquaman's definitely putting the pressure on him. Josh with his personal best of the race at a 55.5. That's only 0.4 off of Andrew's best lap.
That's fast. So that's a good time for a top split race. So it looks like the fourth place, Luz Sampaio, have a, I mean Carter Price, have a good space between fifth place. It's like 6 seconds of gap at the moment.
Yeah, he has some nice breathing room. No pressure behind. Not quite making any ground up on P2 and P3 either. Catching back up with P2 and P3. Aquaman still just 0.3 behind Josh.
Who's closing the gap?
Josh going a little bit wide. That gives Alex a little bit of an opportunity here. Can he make the pass happen into the hairpin? Just a little too far back there. Ooh, a little bit of a slide on the exit for Josh though. That gives Alex a little bit of a run.
He's on his bumper.
Ooh, and quite the run. He puts the pressure on Josh, goes a little wide, and Aquaman's through.
You see the window, and he's ended.
Those are the type of opportunities you really have to force a mistake on a driver ahead of you, where when you guys are on the same pace, that's how you get it done. That's how you get by.
Little mistake, and we are close to 3 minutes to close the race, right? So that should be like 2 more laps.
I think, yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, Andrew did a 54.9.
Just another rapid lap. Looks like Aquaman's starting to pull away a little bit too. That gap between him and Josh is now 8/10.
Yeah. Let's see, Jeff recovered enough to put some pressure on Alex Aquaman.
He definitely has the pace. They're you know, kind of average lap time and even their personal bests are very, very close. So it looks like we do have a little bit of a battle for P10 as well. Angelo really closing the gap on Douglas.
Definitely less than a second.
Angelo just a little bit better on the entry to that hairpin, and that helps him close that gap just ever so slightly more. And it gets just a little bit of the dirt.
I think we still have a battle for P2, less than a second, between Aquaman and Josh. So he's still on a fight for P2.
And this should be the last lap, so it's all on the table now. Oh, these guys are close. Josh is going to put the pressure on all the way to the end, I'm sure.
So it's been a clean race. No hard incidents at the moment.
Yeah, it's sometimes scary to speak too soon, right?
Yeah.
And just a little
Oh,
wide
off
from
track.
Josh, yeah.
Trying to push the limit.
He closes right back up in the braking zones, though. He got close, but just not quite enough.
What was a high battle?
Looks like our next closest battle coming on the last lap is still between Douglas and Angelo. That gap's down to 4/10.
Real close there.
Oh, very close. This might be a drag race to the end.
Think he's gonna push for it?
Yeah, just messed up that braking zone just a little bit
Yeah.
for that last corner.
I think he break it so he don't push. Douglas. Nice race.
Yeah, that's going to be our race finish there. So taking a look at the results, we have Andrew in P1, followed by Aquaman in P2, Josh King in P3, Carter Price in P4, Luis Sampaio in P5, Nick Cox in P6, The Mullet in P7, followed by Jake Austin, Michael, Douglas Mellon, Angelo Bovino, Andrew Agard, Chris K. Kohler, June Tan, The Scientist, and last but not least, Eric Faust. That's going to wrap up our race 2. Overall, a really great night of racing. Everybody kept it really clean. Lots of really close battles. What are your thoughts on our league races for the week, Eddie?
I think we have a really great group for this season. We're gonna see some interesting fights in other races like this one. Also on this one, Andrew gains from 18 to 12, like 6 positions. So
Wow. Yeah, nice job to Andrew. All right.
great racing.
Yeah, that's going to wrap us up for the week. We'll see you guys next Thursday.